against effective advertising campaign against Dukakis.
So what were the Republicans trying to do by releasing this ad?
It seems like they're trying to fire the first shot, because let's not forget, if you look at the new CNN poll, 30% of people for both of these guys either have no opinion or don't know who they are. So the effort to define Hillary's running mate before anyone really knows who he is, it's always hard with us because like we've known these people since the beginning. That seems like what they're trying to do, that you can't trust this guy. He's not going to keep you safe.
You know, Carol, it's worth saying, too, they're trying to change the message right now because all the negative stories have been about Donald Trump. You put an ad out like this, what they're trying to do is to also try to take us all off topic of what's happening with Donald Trump and to talk about Tim Kaine.
Okay, so that part worked, right?
Right, a little bit.
Mark, Heidi, Jackie, thanks so much for being with me. Coming up in the newsroom. Oh, I have to tell you the quick reminder. Tonight marks the first and only time the vice presidential candidates will make their case on the same debate stage. You can catch CNN special coverage right here, beginning at 4 p.m. Eastern. Still to come in the newsroom, a fellow billionaire lights into Trump on taxes. Up next, why the co-founder of LinkedIn lashed out. All right, welcome back. We are just hours away from the first and only vice presidential debate. We're live in Farmville, Virginia. Mr. Trump is still taking heat on his tax controversy. A co-founder of LinkedIn, a Clinton supporter and fellow billionaire, slammed Trump over his big loss in 1995 and his use of federal loopholes. Listen.
Losing nearly $1 billion actually, in fact, doesn't make you a very successful businessman and doesn't actually make you brilliant. It's really awkward, almost indecent, to be claiming, I am a great public servant, I want to serve you, and by the way, I go through enormous amounts of expense and energy to avoid contributing my fair share into the common coffers.
This, as a new CNN ORC poll shows, 8 out of 10 Trump voters say paying taxes is, quote, a civic duty. So let's talk about this with our CNN political commentators. Joining me here in Farmville, Simone Sanders is a former national press secretary for Bernie Sanders' presidential primary campaign. She's now a Hillary Clinton supporter. And Scotty Nell Hughes is a political editor with RightAlerts.com and a Donald Trump supporter. Welcome to both of you.
Hey, Kara.
Okay, Scotty, first volley goes to you. So you heard what the LinkedIn guy said, and you saw that even Trump voters says it's like a civic duty to pay income taxes. So,
and I think Mr. Trump would agree. Nothing has said that he has not paid taxes. He just hasn't produced the documents to show how much. He's done what almost every American has.
He didn't dispute anything in the New York Times article, which makes me believe that he really didn't pay federal income taxes for the last 18 years.
Well, he's not going to add into the narrative of an illegal document that was published by the New York Times. How can Mr. Trump go
He's
this
not
long?
disputing the document.
But he's disputing that it's illegal, that they should not have published it without his release. That is illegal to do. And the New York Times says, you're running for president. We don't care about the law. And
that said, it's out there and people have seen it, and it is an accurate document.
That is true. But one thing is, this is the same game from an old playbook that we saw back in 2012 with Harry Reid, who came out and a Huffington Post afterwards said that it was a rehearsed, practiced lie. And Harry Reid's comment about pressing Mitt Romney to do his taxes, to release his taxes that turned out to be he paid as well, said, you know what, I have no regret. Mitt Romney isn't president. So this is just the same game the Democrats play in order to try to
I'm trying to understand what you're saying. So you're saying this won't matter at all?
It's not mattering because the majority, unless you're an American and you go into your accountant every year and you say, you know what, don't give me any deductions, then you might have some.
But I couldn't go into my accountant and say, you know what, I suffered this loss and I don't want to pay any federal income taxes. I can't do that. Only people who make as much money as Mr. Trump can do that.
Well, but see, Hillary Clinton did the same thing. The New York Times did the same thing. This is something this is a standard practice by most people in business
I don't know about
right
Hillary
now.
Clinton,
and the law,
but like Delta Airlines did the same thing. So does Scotty have a point, Simone?
You know what? No. So one, I want to note there's a difference between $700, maybe $1,000 and $1 billion. And Donald Trump has no one to blame but himself for this loss of $1 billion. But what I do think we have to make note of is that, look, if Donald Trump was maybe a brown or black-skinned man named Johnny and worked a regular job, he probably wouldn't be running for president. He'd probably be in jail for tax evasion. So it is a position of privilege, because Donald Trump is a man of many means, to employ these tactics. This is not going to fly with everyday American voters, you know, people that work on Main Street. And for Trump supporters, it won't make a difference, but people whom Mr. Trump is trying to win over, I think it definitely does.
But nothing illegal has been done here. You can't say tax evasion. Nothing illegal has been done. That's something across the board. Everybody's saying nothing illegal has been done. And the reason why Mr. Trump paid more is because he made more. So he made more jobs. He created more money he put into the economy. And an economy underneath Bill Clinton that was hurting for those that were developers. That was on average that was happening at that point.
It is documented that under Bill Clinton, the economy enjoyed one of the most prosperous times ever, like in
Main
recent
Street
history.
did, but
and I would also like to note that just because something is legal doesn't make it right. You know, slavery was legal for a really long time. There are lots of things. It was legal that, like, domestic violence wasn't frowned upon for.
Well, then take that up with your candidate, because she did the exact same thing. And 96 under Bill, 71,800 businesses failed, owing $36 million that same year of Donald Trump. That is not as successful.
Bankruptcy. Look, I think this is what's important to know here, Carol, is that we are talking about winning an election. I know Donald Trump likes to boast that he won 10 million or so odd votes in the primary campaign, but to be president, you need to win upwards of 65 million to 75 million voters. So things like this makes a difference. And if Donald Trump is running as the person that is advocating for those working class people that the Democrats and the Republicans have left out and left behind for so long, someone who willingly boasts about gaming the tax system to pad his own pockets and protect his own interests is not somebody that identifies with regular hardworking American people.
Here's the other tack that Mr. Trump is taking now, you know, talking about that nearly $1 billion loss in that single year, which is a big loss, right? He's saying that, you know what? I showed that I could get myself out of it. And he's sort of portraying himself as this underdog who can overcome hardship. But how can he be an underdog when he's always been wealthy? It's not like he went broke after that, because he didn't. Well, he still had $400,000 every single month to live on during that time. So how is he the underdog?
Well, he never hit it in that time. He actually wrote an email that Pierce Morgan actually published of that same year, saying this is tough. This is a tough economy right now for builders and developers, and the laws are written for real estate developers to be able to write off enough so that they turn around and reinvest in the community and create jobs. That's why Donald Trump's attributed for 22,000
But when his casinos closed down in Atlantic City, people lost jobs and many contractors weren't paid.
Because of an economy and stifling government regulations underneath a Democrat mayor and a Democrat president. This is the Bill Clinton economy that we were in. And so
the 90s were roaring, Scotty.
Main Street.
People were very prosperous.
And how did 71,000 businesses go under that year alone? It was roaring for some.
They were bad businessmen.
Well, but you know what? This is why this speaks to the American people. And Mr. Trump said, you know what? Despite the economy I was handed, what was going on, I still reemerged as a success, and I am today. No, he did nothing.
All right, I gotta leave it there. Simone Sanders, Scotty Nell Hughes, thanks so much for a spirited conversation this morning. I know my executive producer Michelle is trying to say something in my ear. Am I missing a breaking news event? Nope. We're just going to the next debate. What's it like to debate Tim Kaine? My next guest actually knows the answer to that question. We'll get insights from the former Virginia governor and Senator George Allen next.